Hello and welcome. Well, today we're discussing the NDC primaries. Indeed, the MPP have gone through theirs with their own challenges, and now it's the turn of the NDC. But what amazes me is the rate at which our colleagues, members of the media, are just quickly leaving their microphones and their pens and now dashing for a parliamentary seat or the other. What is it? Is it really die-hard service for God and country, or is it guaranteed 4-year, guaranteed income with an ex gratia at the end of it? Which is which? Again, you tend to find out, or we tend to expect when people are going into parliament to represent the people, they should be tried and tested in life, probably even failed or fallen and risen before. But this new crop of people who are now rushing for parliament, you realize that it's like this is their testing ground. They're going there, to go and now test the waters to see what life will be like. Well, I'm not here to judge anyone, but with me in the studio, when I come back, I'll introduce, will actually tell me if these guys are going to test the ground, if they are seasoned people, if they are people that we can trust our nation in their hand. By all means, young and fresh blood, but what does experience play in these matters? Folks, my name is Nana Ansakwao, and this is PM Express. Hello and welcome back. With me in the studio is George Lowe, who's a member of parliament, or honorable member of parliament for North Dai, who's also a staunch lawyer. And this is a hot season for every politician in the ranks of the NDC. But my brother, you're welcome. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, Nana. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. George, my first question is, being that you are, party in power, are you holding your primaries too early?
Thank you. Good evening, and let me say good evening to all our cherished viewers. To hold primaries too early or not, it's a dicey one. Yes, normally, in the past, you would find that we used to do what we called the orphan constituencies first. Constituencies where we don't have sitting MPs. And then later on in the year, we would do the constituencies where we have sitting MPs. This time around, we have changed our electoral system. We have changed the whole procedure. We're not only doing our parliamentary primaries across the country, but we are also doing the presidential and the parliamentary together. So indeed, it's a new dawn of the way we select our people who represent us in parliament, and indeed how we select our presidential candidates. So you'll find out that we will no longer go to a Kumasi or a Sunyani or some Tamale or somewhere to converge with delegates, and amidst all the fanfare and everything, you elect a presidential aspirant. No, this time we are doing it across the constituencies.
So one every constituency, you just do this.
So we are doing all our. It's like a mini general election, if you ask me.
But with the timing, is it comfort zone? It's the opposition is not doing much to threaten you, so probably you can do anything you want to do now.
No, I think that it's a well thought out program, and the timing is just fine. This is the longest recess that parliamentarians have. So to create a level playing field, it's important that we do it before Parliament resumes fully, so that we will now concentrate on the work of Parliament.
But that's on the subject of concentrate. There's one school of thought that's saying that, listen, those who go and lose may not be able to concentrate anymore, and some people may lose, and it becomes then difficult, for a whole year, knowing that, look, this is my last day. Do I put in my 100%? Do I start fishing out for employment elsewhere? 6 months to time would have been quite safe.
Now the flip side. The flip side is that, everybody knows that, you know that people are coming to contest you. And then you are a sitting member of parliament. The field is no longer a delegate field where you are capable of grouping 500 people in a room and talking to them. This one is like a mini election. So you go to all the branches and talk to them, because every card-bearing member is eligible to vote. So when you are in parliament and your opponent is on the field, you will find out that concentration on the floor will also not be solid. So when the chips are down and you know where you belong, I believe that it's easier to handle. Yes, a few days, a few weeks would destabilize you, but then for the next 1 year, you probably would have gotten over this. And the NPP has demonstrated, I mean, after their primaries, they are back in the house. People have lost, but gradually we begin to see that they are coming back to form. And then more importantly, and for some of us, that is why we thought that the early primaries was advantageous. You have 1 year to plan your exit. You know, for me, that is important. You would have had a full year at least to plan your exit. You know exactly that when you go out there, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do next, and things like that. So both ways, you can't get a perfect system. Both ways, they have their merits and demerits.
Let me divert small, and then we'll come back to primary.
Sure.
Staying in politics, I mean, as a country, are we trying to make, I don't want to use the word wrong, but are we trying to make a wrong system perfect where, you know, it's too divisive and we just come back and tear each other apart? I mean, once you guys finish your primaries and everything's all said and done, all we're going to do is just rip each other apart. The opposition is never going to say you've done anything good. You are never going to sing their praises, and we just divide ourselves up. As a nation, are we just trying to make a wrong system perfect?
Well, Nana, I thank you very much for raising this topic, and it's a bit worrying for all good, well-meaning politicians. I would have believed, or I would have thought that, look, politics is about issues. Politics is about human beings. Politics is about how we make our nation develop. Mm-hmm. If the opposition would say to themselves that, look, okay, this is one Ghana, we would have wished that things were this way, that way, that way. But even the new approach that is being used is good. But it could have been better if A, B, C, D were added. I'm sure that would have issue-based politics. But to the extent that nothing good happens in this country because I'm not in power, you would always find us going back round in circles, forth, back and round in circles. We never make it. Because even where the thing is good, we are not prepared to talk about it, because the psyche is that if I praise him, others would also praise him and he may stay in power. Mm-hmm. Look, it is not about who stays longest in power, but it's about what impact we all make at any point in time. And you can make a fantastic impact even when you are in opposition. You know, and when you are in opposition and you make the right contributions, and you are in power and you listen to advice, what it means is that anytime one person is in power, he has a better system to operate, and therefore is able to deliver much more. But the current system, I believe it's not the best. I think that all of us should reorient ourselves and realize that you do not have to be negative to make an impact. The politics of insults, the politics of divisiveness, the politics of nothing good comes out of one group of people. I think that is not helped us. It's not helped us.
Okay, let me move and come back. Maybe we'll go there again, but let me come back. Now, everyone is surprised with the new breed of people vying for MPship. Their background, their age, and very youthful. Some will say quite inexperienced. What is causing this wave?
No, it's a bit confusing, because I have been trying to place it in context myself. Whilst I was driving in here, I was sent a poster of somebody who wanted to contest in a concert, and everybody's asking questions about the caliber of people, and it's across board. I mean, we have all manner of people surfacing in various constituencies, and they are coming now. I'm listening to some in the afternoon, making all sorts of things. What I see is that we have a duty to do. NCC has a huge problem on their hands, and they would have to get up and do some real political education. Mm-hmm. It's beginning to look like they are totally at sea as to what the parliamentarian's role is, what kind of caliber of people you need in there to be able to make an impact. It's amazing that people think that Parliament is a talk shop where you just go and sit there and say that, well, me too, I'm an MP. It's not the best of things. That is why some people are saying, for instance, that some caliber of MPs must be protected. Having said that, I also think that, yes, I have no problem at all when we have a certain crop of young ones coming in. But I think that there should be to be able to maximize the benefits of everybody, there should be a clear balance. In the UK, you have people with 40 years experience in parliament. And I always say, for instance, you will find out that Right Honorable Doa Jaho, in giving every ruling in parliament, is able to refer you to some similar ruling that came up or some issue that came up. And the way he handles the chair shows you that experience does pay, to some extent, on the floor. Parliament's work, people don't realize, is, I always say, like the mechanics' work, heavily regulated by procedure. So if you come in there and are not prepared to learn, even with all chains of degrees, you will fail. Your impact on the floor will be very minimal. Secondly, people possibly think that the MP probably, I always say that the MP possibly goes to queue every Friday and gets a sack full of money, dump it in his boot and moves into his constituency. That is not it. Many people have come, at least for the time that I've been in parliament, many people have come, chief executives from other corporations, people have resigned their jobs, well-paid jobs, and come, and they weep inside every day. Because it is so sad when people bastardize MPs. And I recently, with the doctor's argument, I sat one down. By the time I was through with him, he didn't want to believe what I've said. But now you guys can make all look, that is why most MPs will die 4 years, 5 years after they leave.
But see, George, the difficulty the average citizen finds is that the MP who's saying that, listen, it's terrible, we don't have enough money, everything, but come next 4 years, we'll go and borrow money and go every length to maintain the same seat which is bankrupting him. So, see, that's where
you are spot on, and it's a dilemma everybody finds themselves in. I keep asking myself sometimes whether you want to do this thing again. But again, also, when you look at the work that you need to do, sometimes you are driven by certain circumstances. Let me give you one practical example. I had sleepless nights 2 days ago. Why would I have sleepless nights? Simply because whilst I sat with my executive having a fun and cracking a joke, a young boy was brought in. He had qualified for tech, chemical engineering, something I won't say many people from my area qualified to do. This is a guy who has schooled in and around, I think Bishop Emmanuel or Amfregan or something, and he's made it for chemical engineering, and his parents are farmers in Kute or somewhere who cannot afford. As I sit here now this evening, I've been able to talk. I had to do a few skirmishes, and we are almost getting some, I think about close to about 3,000 for him to go to school. That gives me fulfillment. And this year alone, he probably is about the 8th or the 10th person who has come with such a problem. There are many other things you are doing. You are helping put up a school, and you know that school children. It gives you fulfillment. Coming from my background, my own background, as a social, having worked with the Lions Club and things like that, you are motivated by these things. So you want to ask yourself, well, don't I want to have the opportunity to do many of these things again? But sincerely speaking, and between you and I, if it's for, say, the money or I didn't have to do that. I was a successful lawyer, and I was making good money as a lawyer. I always tell people I had many more things as a lawyer than I have now as an MP. But maybe the fulfillment. And secondly, pay your training. On the floor, you are making an impact. You can feel the impact you are making. You are making a law, and you understand that you are making a law. So those are the drivers sometimes. I believe, and I'm not, and my people will tell you, I'm not one of those who are interested in four-wheel drives and things like that. But I don't need them to carry my work through. But in reality, you also have a crop of people who cannot survive without it. And it's a fact, As to what drives them, I cannot tell. But obviously, after some time, you expect that, look, this person, apart from those in very crucial positions, when you have your majority leader, for instance, who is like an encyclopedia, you would want to understand that you need to keep him there. So even when he doesn't want to go, I remember recently Honorable Bagwin was saying that he wasn't going to go. We all sent a delegation and said, leader, please, we need you to survive, because most of us are still learning. And you remember that in 2012, a lot of young people have gotten into parliament. And like I said, it's a mechanics workshop. You need to understudy to learn. You don't go there and think that no amount of, in fact, if you have triple PhD, you can come to parliament and you'll be an abysmal failure, because it's like law. I know a professor of a department in Legon who sat in class and he didn't even get second class upper in the law in the law class. So really, it's a regulatory, it's procedural, and you need to study those things to be able to do us some good.
Let me pause you there on the issue of procedural and mechanics and everything. Let's watch someone else who's coming into parliament.
Final decision is to go into it or still being the mayor of Accra?
No, right now I'm enjoying being mayor of Accra. Nobody knows what will happen 6 hours from now, tomorrow. But when I decide that that's what I want to do, I think I will move forward. But as mayor of Accra, you can only run 2 terms. You can only be mayor for 2 terms. And so my second term is almost coming to an end. You understand? By the end of 2016, I would have finished my second term. So I have to find out what my new line of work would be.
Procedural. Here we have with the Titanic Vanderpoy coming into Parliament. I mean, almost every DC now is vying to come into. I mean, how many have you got a number now? People vying into Parliament?
No, you will not until the 10th of September, because that's when people are
people are
picking forms here and there, and on daily basis people are picking forms. On other occasions people are filing the forms that they pick. So
are you protecting anyone, or it's free for all?
From all indications, it's
the few guys will be protected.
No, it's free for all. The only thing that will happen is there will be a vetting session, and as is normally the case, some people may not be allowed to contest because they don't qualify. But other than that, everybody's given a level playing field.
From the layman, from the general perception, the news going around, it just seems as if it's a safe haven. Look, let's try and be an MP, and it's a safe haven. It comes across like that because, Georgie, you don't see somebody come and say, this person was very good in human rights, or this guy's done some mining, or he's a good agriculturist, so going in there, he's really going to push some agriculture agenda. There's nothing that you can identify them with.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that from the beginning, I've been very straightforward about that, and I believe that, it is not the best option. It's not the best thing to do. I think that, first and foremost, even though the Constitution is clear, everybody can put up themselves, provided you meet the requirement. That is the general thing. Our party constitution allows any party member who is qualified by our guidelines to come in. But I also agree with you entirely when we say that, yes, you don't need to in Parliament to make the impact that you need to make. That is one. Two, I am disappointed in certain, for instance, when the mayor says that I have to look for something else to do. For me, that should not be the drive. The driver should be that I think I've acquired enough that I want to put to the service of the people. Because you see, in Parliament, we have various and diverse committees where experience can be brought to bear. If that is if that is what you want to do, I, as Vice Chairman of Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, and of course, immediate past Deputy Ranking Member of Public Accounts Committee, I'm excited to use my legal knowledge to assist my committees to deliver on crucial bills and give advice and, go to workshops with ministries and Vice Attorney General's department and other departments under her and things like that. Yes, that is what I enjoy doing. I'm bringing something on board. I hope that everybody who comes in would have brought something, on board so that we enrich our legislation, we enrich the kind of things that we do. Sometimes we are even asked to go and assist other committees with some legal work, you know. So if people, like you are saying, and if people are coming on board, they must come with some repertoire of achievements, you know. So I worry a bit when...
Or even passion that
yes,
we can identify.
Yeah, you know, that you know that this person is coming from this industry, and we have a few of them like that.
I always cite Oyelitha as an example.
Yes.
That when she was given that ministry, everybody knows that even before that ministry, she was doing the work anyway.
Great.
You know, so you're able to.
You know, and then also, I always smile when I hear people say, I'm coming to do this, and I'm going to do it. But I ask myself, why? If, for instance, you are a chief executive of a public organization, and for the 4 years or 3 years or 6 years that you've been there, nobody knows you in your community. Nothing about your profession shows in the community. You can't even boast of saying that, look, I went to my community, I saw 3 brilliant but poor students, and I thought that I picked them up and assisted them. Then suddenly, you come and you want to come and enrich education. For me, it's laughable. And that is what we should look out for. Whilst you are out there, when you are not coming to vie, what did you do for that community?
Let me take you back. Okay, I've been called for a break, but let me ask my question and I'll go for a break and come back. It's the confusion between the general populace and a legislator. We don't identify you with the laws you're supposed to make, but we identify you with bring me road, pay my school fees. When are we going to break for me to understand that, listen, on GMO, what did you vote? Or on cohabitation right, how did you vote? When are we going to bridge that gap? I'm coming straight from the break.
I don't know why people kill themselves to get there and spend all these inordinate amounts of money to get there. It's just an avenue to serve. Quite a number of people there are just along for the ride. We could be doing so much more than we are doing. I think the institution itself needs to assert its authority. We also contribute to the weakness and ineffectiveness of our legislature.
You don't think some of your colleagues are working enough?
A fair number of them are working. Some aren't working. There's some who make up the numbers.
That's the failure of most parties, right? That we don't people
of the parties,
of the parties, yeah, that people come in and then we just allow them, right? We allow them to just enter and do whatever they want, you know, because I am of the school of thought that, like you said, you have to bid your time. Some of us got to where we are through a long process. Otherwise, you get burnt out quickly, right? And you end up the system just collapsing. I mean, we can go to our parliament today, and people who rushed in have sat in parliament for 4 years, and they've not even uttered a word. And some people, they go there, and if they don't understand the committee system, the papers that they are given to study, they don't understand. You know, so the person go there, what is his ability, what is his background? You understand? So you go and you realize that, and you've been witness to this thing. The committee goes for a meeting, and then when they come out, the same committee members start arguing,
divergent as if they didn't conclude on the issue, even though they are concluded
exactly.
on the subject. Yeah.
You understand? Look at other jurisdictions. You have the Labour Party or the Conservative Party, the person has served the party in a certain capacity, and they are
the local level, yes.
And exactly. And
of course, you may have young people who, because of their brilliance,
exactly. Yeah. You cannot run away from that fact. But when there's a wholesale, the transition becomes difficult because you end up, the system will break down. And that is what I am afraid of. That if
my keen observation, having been somebody who has worked in the media for some time, is you get to see that from 2000 and let's say 5 thereabout, we've seen, and that'll be the last 10 years, we've seen that phenomenon on having people rushing quickly.
Exactly.
Especially the last
4 or 5 years, yes.
Yeah, people just quickly rush and they want to get. Why?
I don't know. I've keep asking myself. You see, because without, I take myself for example. You know, I think I'm a very good parliamentary material.
Yes, you are. You are more than good.
You understand? You see,
you are more than good.
Yes, but I'm not tempted to do that. I feel I can serve this country in another capacity. You see, the time all of us cannot go to Parliament at the same time. I've had people coming to my house calling me to go and contest. I said, no. As a regional chairman, I've passed the stage of going to Parliament. I have to move on and train somebody to also come. But you need to bid your time. Right? But you look at what is happening and what even keeps me going, that people who have been in certain positions, they've just been in the position, right? They haven't even excelled themselves in the positions that they are. And they want to jump the gun and go and move to a higher position. Where's their track record? And it's happening in all the fronts of the parties. So when the MPP went to the election, good materials, right, had fallen on the wayside. Some are first-timers who have come in, right, who are supposed to at least learn the ropes, and they've gone. So our parliament is not being enriched, and you know, I mean, for want of contempt of parliament, you have to check yourself, right? So you sit down sometimes
it dilutes even the debate and the quality of output.
Exactly. Yeah. You look at other duties, you see men with grey hair.
Yeah, people have been in politics for 40 years.
40 years. And so the system...
Not everybody, though. You have a lot more.
You have to have a mixture. Yeah. You know, and I look at the Conservative Party and I realize and the Labour Party and even the Democratic Party and the Republicans, people gradually grow. He becomes a mayor somewhere, a governor, and so. So when he's coming, he's got a track record. But if you tell me that you are a media analyst, and then because of that, it qualifies you to go to Parliament, it's serious.
The dilemma and the future of politics, you know, and I think from both sides of the fence are sharing the same concerns that, look, go and build yourself an experience before you come. It's not a field day here. And my question was, the confusion, I'll come back to this, but the confusion between citizenry and the legislature. I'm sure your constituents don't know how you vote on certain issues, and they're not too very much, very concerned. They're much like, bring me a road, bring me a hospital, bring me a community center, and pay my son's school fees. When are we going to understand that that's not your job, but your job is to make a law that will allow me to pay the school fees?
Yeah, you see, Nana, I said it before, much earlier, that we have a situation where roles are not properly defined. And indeed, NCC, for instance, have that mandate to educate the populace. When an election is coming, district level election, then you see them going around with a van. Then they wait till the general election, and then 2 weeks to election. I remember the last election, they came to my constituency, and I told them I was interested in their program. Because about a week to elections, when I had other things to do, you come and you want to come and educate. Maybe 10, 15 people will turn up, and I think that is not worth it. The time, the money, and everything. I think that we should have a consistent year-long program where these things are discussed at community level. Because, of course, I'm on a media platform, but I always lash out at my friends in the media. Being a media-trained person myself, I think that we are not doing enough. There's something that I just don't like, particularly about the parliamentary reporters. And in the morning, what do we do in Parliament? Prayers. And then maybe a statement, and then the business of the day. But the business of the day, maybe we are approving some loan or question time and things like that. Question time is key, it's important. But when we are doing consideration of bills, where I can now get up because the maize is down, I don't need to do all the protocols. I just get there and say, look, no, I don't agree to this clause. No, this clause must go. That is where you see where an MP's interest is. Look at the public gallery and it's cleared. There's no the media gallery is cleared. There's nobody there. It's boring, so they pack off. So you are not serving the public. Because when we are doing bills, it is at the consideration stage that inputs are made because when it comes to the voice vote, you cannot tell how somebody voted. Because sometimes in the voice vote, somebody like me, if I don't agree, I just keep quiet. But how will you know that I kept quiet or I said yeah? Because 90% of our voting procedure is by the voice votes. All in favor say aye, and then the ayes have it. But when you are there, and you see that I am arguing with maybe Adwa Safo, Osla, Afenyo on the other side, he's disagreeing with me, then you know what I stand for and how I think that we should vote, or what I think something must read. You know. So that for me is important. Civil society, key. When we are doing bills, you expect subject matter civil societies. If it's a bill about rights, I remember we did the exchange of prisoners bill. I championed that bill on the floor, and I don't think that people even remember that transfer of prisoners bill. Surprisingly, the British government was so interested. Somebody was detailed from the British High Commission who called me every morning and find out when we are doing it, what we are doing. But our own media, nobody even came to interview you about it. You are talking about GMO. Today, there are people saying that, oh, they don't agree with GMO, when the actual fact on the floor supported it. And I always challenge them. I said, so why did you support it? He said, oh, well, I didn't understand it at the time. I said, this is disgraceful. You know, there are several things. I mean, we still have the plant breeders bill that is so misunderstood, if you ask me. But how will people know why I think that it is not a GMO bill and somebody else thinks that it's a GMO bill? If the media doesn't give it some, let me congratulate. There's a group that comes to us very often about the right to information bill. They are always on. In fact, when I'm going on, even on research, they'll send you a text message. Oh, Honorable, remember that this bill is coming up, and we want you to pass it. You know, and then whatever amendments they want. Sometimes we even advertise that, look, this bill is before this select committee. Kindly bring, if you have anything against it or you have anything in favor or something. Nobody does. And then we pass it.
Really missing the point.
Yes. So in actual fact, what I'm saying is that where you can point out to the constituents that your MP did not support this or supported this, or that even the MP did not consult you, he's come to make this law and things like that. The first window is through the media. And of course, the NCC must be there to make the people understand that your MP is not somebody who should build a road for you. That your MP is not the person who must even bring a school. What your MP should do is that your MP carries your concerns to Parliament. He goes to subject matter areas, like if it's roads and highways, just the MP will write a letter and say, my constituent think they need A, B, C, D, or we don't agree to the road passing through this place. We put it here. We don't agree that we need a technical school. We'd rather have a secondary school. These are the things that an MP has to do, you know. But because of some past happenings, I don't know, and because we ourselves have this thing of saying that, oh, when we come, we'll do the road.
Bring you a river
and
put a
yes, and you know what is so interesting? I always say that when you look at posters, you read all those coming. Look at their posters. Transformational agenda. Change is coming. Where is the change coming from? You know, and so many of these things, it gives the people the certain perception.
Just let me move the argument and find out. You see, you take somewhere like the USA. At the moment, they are like on their 45th or 46th amendment.
Yeah.
So as they were moving, they were adding, taking out. Now, it was all based on the society's understanding of what is going on with regards to representative government. So, I mean, at one point they thought that, listen, you don't understand what's going on. You wait when it gets there. And now, you know, they have probably 98, 97% solidly educated populace. So they feel that now I can let you loose to go and make that decision. And indeed, it's difficult to go and say, well, take 7 up and go and vote for me. You can't do that. Have we gotten there? Because at the moment, you can give somebody a bag of rice or 10 cedis, 50 cedis, and say, look, and they probably would entice them. I mean, should we start amending to a point where, or it's free for all, everybody can make a decision? I mean, there are certain people who you look at, this could be the 50+1. Oh.
Yes, I mean, I think that you are right in a certain sense. But generally, like I keep saying, every man at a certain age, our constitution says, is capable of making a decision as to who should lead that person.
Because we have borrowed from what somebody said.
Well,
we didn't find out how they got there.
Yes, but it is the tragedy of the way we have developed as a country. Because I am one of those who also share In fact, I have a friend who says that even if you are not educated in secondary school, you shouldn't vote. We always have our arguments anyway. But having said that, I don't agree. Gradually, even though we seem to have been on a roller skater speed, but gradually I think that we are beginning to get very sophisticated. The local people who we think do not understand these things are beginning to understand it, and they're understanding it big time. Other than that, how else can skirt and blouse show up in our political system?
Okay, see,
how else can, sometimes rather you go to a political contest and the professor loses to a tailor. It tells you that the people have a choice and they know why they voted in that direction.
I want to advance the argument, and I'll come back for the praise to say that, listen, yes, we're a free country, but for Parliament and the size of the document and the legalese and the things that are coming, you must have maybe 10-year working experience, at least 6 years of paying income tax, say, listen, this is what we require of you so that we know that we can give you a document and look, Mr. George, take this home and tomorrow come back and argue on it. But if we say it's free for all just because you are Ghanaian and of sound mind and God knows whose what sound mind is, I think it's a danger on us. And it's showing, as some people say, there are some people in the parliament who are just adding up. Let me take a break and then when I come back, you answer that. So stay tuned. Well, thank you very much for staying. What an interesting conversation. Sometimes these are some of the topics that you wish you had an extra half an hour. And the telephone number is 0302-211-701-70224, 0302-211-70124. Let's hear what you think. But I was just saying, let us tighten the rules so that people coming in would have to go through a setting experience before they can. I mean, it's our own country. We haven't broken any rules.
Yeah, but you see, it's our own country, but we are also operating within the constitutional framework. And the Constitution says a community should
attack the Constitution.
So we are saying that the community should look among themselves and put their best foot forward. So you cannot judge for them. They have decided that this is their best foot. So
you tell them your best food is no good.
No, but that would be unfair.
Let's speak to Wanda. Hello, have I got Wanda?
Hello.
Hello, Wanda.
Yeah, sir.
Yes, let me hear your take on this conversation.
Hello.
Hello, let me hear your take on this conversation.
Yo. Hello, Kofi.
No, you've come through to Nalan Sakwa. George, let me hear you.
Yeah, so I'm saying that the community have a duty to ensure that they put their best people forward.
So if we say that maybe minimum first degree or second degree must have worked 10 years, then it means every community now should sponsor a child to look, you need to go to school so that you come and represent her. Let me speak to Musa. Hello, Musa.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Let me hear your take on the issue.
I think all those who qualify to go to parliament, it's not all about the degrees and the masters that they hold, but it's the impact they make on the floor of parliament. So all those who are vying for the parliamentary seat, they are not going to. Majority of them, they add to the numbers of the parliament. They are not ready to develop our communities. They are not ready to impact positively at the floor of parliament.
Thank you. Probably it's not they are not ready. Maybe they are not. They don't have the experience to do. Now let me speak to Bismarck. Hello, Bismarck.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay. My conversation is that I thank a lot for what he's trying to say. Sorry. The problem is that it's about the NCC. The National Committee for Civic Education that is to make a lot of fun. It's very clear, but the problem is that the fund that the government is giving to them to make the campaign.
No, the line is very bad. Let me get Felix. The line is quite bad. Hello, Felix.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, let me hear your take on this issue.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm wondering what Mr. Lowe is saying. They are the same people who would want even more of the MPs common fund to be increased. They even have, I think, part of the national health insurance levy to be given to MPs. If they don't have development projects to do, and their role is to just make laws, why are they asking for more? And why do they even take that fund for? They should leave it, and then we will know that they are just there to make laws. And then the assembly and the community, that money should be given to the assembly men and women to develop the areas. They shouldn't take it if they know they are just going there to make laws.
That's your take, Felix. Okay, let me hear Baba now. Hello, Baba.
Hello.
Baba, good evening, Baba.
Good evening, sir.
Let me hear.
I want to contribute.
Very good. Let me hear you.
Okay, it appears many people go to Parliament with the aim of making money. It has become a profit-making venture. And so everybody wants to be there. That is why you see everybody doing whatever they can to be there. And so we don't see any impact of the people on the ground.
Thank you very much. That's the thing. Hello, Ralph.
Yes.
Ralph, let me hear your take on this issue.
Yes, I've been listening to Honorable George Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say that I'm very happy about the things that he said.
No, I think he's been quite honest.
But then, like he said, from the beginning, we the constituents were not told the truth about the work of Parliament and the proceedings. So my plea to him is that he should carry on with this education so that at least the masses on the ground will know that parliamentarians are actually not there to construct roads, build schools, pay school fees and other things, but they are lawmakers. When the people get this understanding, I believe that we will get somewhere. But for now, a lot of people, even including the current assurance of the district assembly, you see on their posters, claiming they are going to bring development, build this, that, and that, and that, and that. And I've been telling people, listen, all these are lies. We need to come out of this thing once and for all. And then I believe Ghana will.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me hear Wise. Do I have you on the phone?
Yes, I'm still here.
Very good. Let me hear your take on this issue.
Oh, okay. I think the MPs are making a mistake. They said that they are not there to do developmental work, but most of them that are already there, when 4 years is over and they are campaigning, they still promise us that they want to construct this road, they want to do this, they want to do that. Now, personally, I'm calling from Ho Central.
Yeah.
I want to see my MP and tell him that I'm not for GMO. Now, how do I go? Where do I meet him? How do I make my voice known? I don't know, something like that. When they go to Accra and they stay there, we don't see them until election time. We want to see them more. They should educate us that they are there to make laws.
Thank you. I think every MP should have a surgery day, maybe once a week or twice a month. So we all know that on Thursdays, I can go to his office and meet him. Let me speak to Jacqueline. Hello.
Hello, Nana. Good evening.
Very good evening.
Yes, George. I would like to contribute to my program.
Oh, let me hear you.
Yeah. Nana, the truth is, our people are not telling the truth. You understand it? Now, because they want votes, they come to the populace and they lie to them. Honorable Law has been telling us all that is on the ground, what they do at Parliament. But ask him, when you go to his populace, does he tell them all these things?
They probably don't want to hear that.
No, he will promise all those things. And that is the truth. That is the bane of our development. That is the problem. You ask him, when he goes there, he doesn't tell them.
Well, thank you very much, George. There's one guy who says, listen, you're there to make laws, so why the District Assembly Common Fund?
Well, yeah, the question is how or why did the District Assembly Common Fund
Let's rush it through because I have two more questions.
Yeah, MPs Common Fund came about. It came about because it became very obvious that people did not want to hear that the MP was not a development agent. So, as part of the an agreement, it was said that at least give MPs some emergency funds, because indeed you will find out that when there is an emergency situation somewhere, nobody goes to the district chief executive. The district chief executive at this assembly has about 96 or 97% of the money that comes to the district. The MP has only like 4%. So, and indeed, even the 4% is managed by the DCE. All you need to do is to write a memo and say, I want to support this community with cement, and then they buy it and supply. So, in real terms, the money is only in the MP's name, but the MP doesn't spend it. He's not a spending officer. But so that the people's aspirations are satisfied, where they can come to the MP for support and he's able to give, that is why that arrangement came into being. In reality, even if they gave all the monies to the district assembly, we still have this problem. Because, sincerely, if you like, if I were here, I will show you all the pile of letters that come for school fees. They are never addressed to the district chief executive, they are addressed to the member of parliament.
Let me move quickly to, because I can imagine if I was vying for MP and I went to a very rural area and I looked at them and I said, oh, you know what, I'm going to pass a housing bill so that there's free housing here. They probably look at me and think, what's he talking about passing a bill? So I would have to tell them, well, I'll bring you a road, I'll bring you water. So just get me in.
No, but you see, the truth is that people are taking that out of context. Nana, when I go on a campaign platform, I have a party manifesto. The party manifesto says that we are coming to build cocoa roads, for instance. So if I go to the people and say that I will lobby for part of the cocoa roads to be brought to my area, if it's a cocoa area, I haven't done anything wrong.
So, but you see, the choice of words is,
yeah, but I'm saying that, no, I'm saying that I'm very careful by my training as a lawyer about the things I say. I have said, for instance, last week I was on a radio program. Then I said, and somebody reminded me, I said, you are saying that any community that assists, does some self-help, you would assist them. Show me the communities that you assisted. And I was able to mention no less than 10. Because I know that with my share of the common fund, I could give them maybe 50 bags of cement each. So in real terms, I have said, and I'm not afraid to repeat it, I would never give a promise I cannot fulfill.
Thank you very much,
George. Because when you go to bed, you must go to bed fulfilled. Yes, with a sound mind. Don't go out there and give a promise you cannot fulfill.
George Lowe, Honourable Member of Parliament for North Dye, and obviously he's still standing. So if you are members of North Dye, I'm sure they have to vote for you.
Oh, I'm not dying.
He's promised and he's not going to fail you. So you have to return him to Parliament. I want to say thank you very much to Tantis Fashion, who sews my shirts. 024-366-2001. Give them a call. Get yourself a nice shirt yourself. 024-366-2001. It's been an interesting conversation, and thank you very much for making the time. And as I always say, tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. But tomorrow on Personality Profile, we have Hackman Owusu-Agyemang. What a story he has to tell. Make it a point to watch it.